Fancy Blitz, we're finally back, and it's a Friday. What? Yep, so this is going to be a quick one because I have work in like 45 minutes and I got to get ready and everything. So, you already know, and it's also Friday, so whoops. But I did have a crazy week. I went to a wedding last night, and yeah, I just did a lot of stuff. And I wasn't there last week. Sorry for being MIA completely. Went on a cabin trip in the mountains. Not a lot of service. Don't want to go streaming. And also, just put the phone down. But I should have said something, so my apologies. But we're going to get right into it. I made my picks, but I just didn't share them. And you guys aren't going to believe me. I went 13-2. Of course, that's my second best week. And I'm not even there to, like, get the foot over. Not even there to, like, show it. You know, how sad is that? It is what it is. We're going to go through these games real quick. And then we're going to get out of here. Probably like a 10-15 minute show. Somewhere around then. But then we'll do some picks. I need to flip over to make the... Yeah, okay. I'll just do that. Alrighty. Oh, hold on. I can't do the math. I'm not doing the math. All right, so Sunday morning we have. Well, first off, now I'm gonna put a timestamp. Fantasy Blitz. It's your boy Elijah. Happy Friday to those that celebrate. I feel like everyone should celebrate this day. It's a good day. Start off the weekend and also just finish strong. So we're gonna start off with Sunday morning football. SMF. We have the Rams at Jacksonville. I think you should go ahead and just get ETN in there, Brian Thomas Jr. in there. Again, Brian Thomas Jr. is one of those guys where kind of struggling in some sort of way in the season, had some good games here and there, but you're kind of stuck in a situation where you don't really want to bench him. Kind of a similar situation with Brian Thomas Jr. I'm sorry, A.J. Brown and Brian Thomas Jr., where you took him pretty high and you just don't want to bench him because maybe you don't have the depth for it, or maybe you just don't want to take that risk because if you're like me, the moment you bench a player or trade him away, they start balling out. I just made a trade for Jameson Williams because I had A.J. Brown, and I was just getting so tired of it. Renato Diaz says, hola, 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 hello, 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 hello to you. Make sure that like button on the way in, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you so much. Let's hang out and chat. But he's in that similar situation where you don't want to deal with the inconsistency, but you also don't want to deal with potentially not getting that boom from that player. So Brian Thomas Jr., I believe, is a safe bet just to play against the Rams. And then for the Rams side, we have Stafford, Adams, and Williams, with Puka Nacua being injured, which is a huge blow, him being like the #1 fantasy player this year in some leagues, I guess, depending on your scoring. So I think that's a great bet. Well, I think Adams is going to go crazy this year, or this week against the Jags, especially that Puka is out. And look for some more run game with Williams there because they're missing the #1. Pensé que eres Ecuador. Ha sido inglés. Okay, well, I learned a little Spanish. I don't really know too much. But yeah, sorry, man. But it looks like you're watching in Ecuador. Shout out to my Ecuadorians. All right, and then we're moving on to the New Orleans at Chicago game. Chicago picked up a nice dub against the Commanders last week on Monday Night Football. Shout out to the Bears there. For the New Orleans Saints, I'm going to start Kamara and Olave. Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, those two guys have been great all year. Last stream I watched, the guy was all right. Interesting enough. But Olave looks great. You know, he looks solid enough to be a good wide receiver, too. I'm in a situation where I kind of have to start him in my wide receiver 1 position just because of some injuries going on. And then Alvin Kamara, all reliable. But Chicago side, we got Caleb Williams, who's been balling out all year. They've been the only team to score over 21 points in every game. So that offense is consistent. I think DeAndre Swift is a great flex start. I like your shirt, brother. Thank you, Infinite. Go Jayhawks, for sure. I'm not even from Kansas. I just like the Hoops team. There you go. And then DeAndre Swift, I think, is a great start. And then Rome Odunze, guy's incredible. So I'm really looking forward to him continuing the season. Then we have Miami at Cleveland. Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, and then Darren Waller. Hello, throwback. He's been doing great ever since he came back onto the field. Tua has really found his good tight end, good target there. So if you want to take a risk and just go ahead and start him, I'd do it right away. Infinite, hit that like button on, I'm so used to saying on your way in. Hit that like button. Make sure that subscribe button. Really do appreciate it, man. We need kind people like you on the channel for sure. For the Cleveland side, we have Quinshon Judkins and I think it's Harold Fannin Jr. He's taken over the tight end spot completely. Appreciate you, Infinite. You're the GOAT. But David Njoku, nothing there. So it looks like it's going to be Fannin Jr. Dylan Gabriel looks pretty good, but not good enough. Thank you, Infinite. You're the GOAT. Ian says hello. Hello, Ian. How are you? But just not good enough to have that starting position yet. But I think he looks promising. People get so impatient, but just athletes in general. Like, dude he hasn't even been in the league for a year. Chaosis, nothing much, just chilling. Nada, E2. But it's looking good for Dylan Gabriel. I think just give him some time. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. Raiders at Kansas City, a divisional game. For the Raiders, just Ashton Genty. The Raiders look like poop, and they're playing they won by 10 against the Titans, which isn't impossible to do, but I just don't see much by them. Kansas City, welcome back, Rashee Rice. You're going to start Mahomes, Kelsey, and Rashee Rice. And then Philadelphia at Minnesota. We have Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Again, another guy like A.J. Brown. I trade him away. As soon as I do, he has actually a pretty solid game. All right, see you later, bro. Appreciate you coming through, Infinite. But again, just you got to start him. You just feel like you have to. Vives Estados Unidos. It's not a Spanish lesson. I live in Georgia. You're the GOAT. No, you're the GOAT, man. Appreciate you. See you soon. Every Thursday around 4:30. It's just not a normal stream. And then for Minnesota, we have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Mason. But J.J. McCarthy is coming back, so I'm a little nervous there because J.J. McCarthy does not look too great. He has faced some tough defenses when he was playing. Philadelphia is a good defense, but they definitely lack a little bit. So he could ball out just a tad. But really, I'm looking at Jordan Mason. And T.J. Hawkinson, man, just nothing's been there. Nothing much, really, from what I've seen, at least. Have a good day, Since Infinite. You as well, brother. Carolina, Rico Dowdle, maybe. Just because of the Chuba Hubbard injury. And then for the Jets, Breece Hall, maybe. That's kind of a crap game. Not really looking forward to it. If you're not watching that game, if you are watching that game, you're either a Panthers fan or a Jets fan, for sure. It's one of those games where it's not too exciting. New England, Drake May, Stephon Diggs. I like their duo a lot. Still kind of figuring out the running back situation, even though it should already have been figured out. It's Trevion Henderson for sure. And then for the Tennessee side, no one. Absolutely no one. It's looking rough out here. For the Giants at Denver, Cam Scatterbo for sure. After that, no one really else. I mean, Theo Johnson, I'll pencil him in just because Jackson Dart has found a favorite target in him. And then for the Denver side, Bo Nix, J.K. Dobbins, Cortland Sutton. That might just be a kind of a boring game because I think Denver's going to smack them. So it might not be like an all-around fest of each player eating. It might just be like a slow grind. Maybe J.K. Dobbins takes over. Maybe Bo Nix just takes over. Regardless, I think the dub gets acquired by Denver. Indianapolis at the Chargers. That's going to be a good game, I think. I think we're going to really see in this game who's legit. Chargers had a great start, and then they've been ever since. But I think this will really show who is legit because Indianapolis has faced some good teams this year. But I like the Chargers a lot. I just don't know how they're going to do against like legit teams. Renato Diaz says Lindes Menias. I don't know. Soy Mels. No. Para Ingles. No. Johan Ortega says, yo, what's up? Ortega or Johan. Appreciate you, man. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. It should be like right around here or something. Just appreciate y'all. And then so Indianapolis, I like Jonathan Taylor, of course. He's the league's leading rusher. Then we have Daniel Jones, who's been fantastic. Tyler Warren, who's been great. Michael Pittman Jr. has been solid enough. And then for the Chargers side, just Herbert and the receivers. There's no running back play really in there at all. Lad is going to have a game. Caleb Park, the GOAT. What's up, Brother Bear? Good to see you. Hope all is well over there at the university. But Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm hoping Ladd has a good game. He had a great play against the Dolphins last week to put him in field goal range. So this guy, Caleb Park, knows ball. All right, so then the Green Bay game versus Arizona. Green Bay, I believe, is coming back off the bye. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, if he's healthy, plain and simple. That's how I think it's going to be all year for that team. Arizona, Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, and Marvin Harrison Jr., the triple M. I think McBride's been balling out all year. Marvin Harrison Jr. catching his stride, so shout out to him because a lot of people have been coming out his neck in the first beginning or the beginning parts of the weeks in the NFL. Golly, I'm just everywhere. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm not going to be streaming on Friday again. I'm pooped. Washington at Dallas. I like Jaden Daniels. I like Bill. If you know, you know. That's Jacoby Croskett something. I can't remember his name all the way through. Sorry, y'all. Debo Samuel, Zach Ertz. Unk still got it. Zach Ertz, he won me my week last week, so shout out to him. And Debo Samuel looks solid enough, but he didn't do great against Chicago. Dallas, I mean, this is what happens when you have pretty much the number 1 offense. You're going to start everyone that's playing pretty much unless it's a wide receiver 3. But Dak, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb looks like he's going to come back. George Pickens, Jake Ferguson. If you're a George Pickens owner, you're kind of hoping CeeDee Lamb doesn't come back, but I think that Dak has kind of figured out his role with George Pickens and vice versa, so I think that's going to work out just fine. Caden says 0.5 PPR, start 3, Debo, Sutton, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., and Breece Hall. I love these questions, guys. Keep hammering these questions. This is what makes the show for sure. So 0.5 PPR, start 3. Debo, Sutton, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Breece Hall. Man, that's a great, that's wonderful right there. So if I would go ahead and eliminate Breece Hall, I just don't like his floor has been awful this year, so I'd probably stay away from him. Love or Nix, I'll just get that one out of the way. Give me Bo Nix. Man, you know what? Hold on. Yeah, I'll take Bo Nix because even Hurts did pretty well in the air against the Giants. But start 3. Honestly, I've been a huge Debo guy, but I feel like the best bet right here is Courtland Sutton, Brian Thomas Jr., and Marvin Harrison Jr. So I would go with Sutton, Brian Thomas, Marvin Harrison, and then bench Breece Hall and Debo, and then go with Bo Nix. But again, for the Dallas side, I mean, that just once you have a great offense but not a great defense, it's unfortunate. But for fantasy, it's great. For Atlanta at San Francisco, huge win by the Falcons last week. Kind of put everyone or all the eyeballs on them, just like, oh, this team's legit. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, the Bills fraud watch. I don't think so necessarily. Have they faced the toughest competition? No. Now we're seeing the Ravens being, and they had Lamar at the time, and they even went toe-to-toe. So maybe it is a fraud. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't call it there yet, but they definitely had played their best team they have on their schedule at the time all year in Atlanta, and it showed that Atlanta is a good team and that they can hang. But for the Atlanta side, Bijan Robinson, of course. And remember, I'm going to have to remind everyone, this is why you watch the show. We said to everyone, with your 1.01 pick, don't go with Jamar. Everyone's saying, go Jamar, go Justin. Go with that elite wide receiver. Nope. Bijan Robinson, we called this in the summer, and now we're seeing it. Yes, I know he's only the 3rd ranked running back in a lot of leagues, but give it some time. Zach Robinson's back on the field, and we're seeing how much it can change the game. So shout out to Zach Robinson and Bijan Robinson. And then Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I expect a bounce-back game for Kyle Pitts. He's been pretty consistent all year, and I expect it again against the 49ers. And then the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, he's expected to be back. This is the big thing to look out for is Christian McCaffrey and against this Atlanta run defense. It's Christian McCaffrey. I expect him to do well, of course, but definitely got to be aware on if you want, you can't really change it much, but if you're relying on that boom factor or not, because I wouldn't put the boom factor on Christian McCaffrey and make that change your picks. So just be aware. But Caden says, Mahomes got locked down by Giants defense. You think that might happen to Bo Nix? No, because I think Sean Payton just knows how to win games, and I think Andy Reid can do it. Well, let me see. Green Bay is playing Arizona. Sam Darnold did do well. I like Bo Nix in fantasy, and it's the name Jordan Love that kind of gets me going, away. So If you want to go with Jordan Love, you would. But personally, I would go with Bo Nix. If you could drop the projections, that might help me a little bit in what your scoring is in that league. Debo plays Dallas as well with McLaurin ruled out, and you don't think he's a start. I just think the inconsistency is too much with Debo. I love him. I think he's great, but the inconsistency drives me nuts. But if you were going to stop it or switch it, I would switch it with Brian Thomas Jr. I would keep Marvin Harrison Jr. I would keep Sutton, and then you could throw Debo in there. I'm guessing this is for, what are you doing 3? I'm guessing 2 wide receivers and a flex? Maybe so. I don't know. I appreciate you, though, brother. Knicks projected 1 more point than Love and 6-point touchdowns. Good league you're in right there, Caden. Even if it was like 5 more projected points, still, that's not how you play ball. 2 receivers and a flex. I'd still go with Knicks. You can come back and yell at me next Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Don't forget it. But Jordan Love, he's great. I just don't know his numbers all throughout the year. He's been okay. It's just I think he's got a better one with Jordan Love. With Josh Jacobs, sorry. So if you want to go with Bo Nix, they're just winners, man. Like, they just get the job done. And I think that J.K. Dobbins going up against that Giants defense may have a little bit of problems. We saw Saquon. He didn't do too great. But also he's been on a weird slate recently. But I would go with Bo Nix. And then, you kind of convinced me there with Deebo Samuel joining that start 3. All right, moving on. Johan says 49ers. I'm a Falcons fan, so I gotta go with my Birds. But 49ers are good. I've always respected that franchise. Tampa Bay at Detroit. This is going to be a great Monday night game. Really, Baker, whichever running back is starting, I believe Bucky Irving is back, or should be back. And then a Mecca. I've heard it's a Mika. I've been calling him Mecca. Caden, I got you. I appreciate you, brother. Make sure you hit that like button. For real, thank you so much, dude. You're the ones, like you guys commenting and asking questions truly do make the show. So I appreciate y'all, man, so much. But for Baker, he's playing like an MVP, probably the best team in football. And then for the Detroit side, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Laporta, Montgomery, you already know the deal. If you watch football, you get it. And then for Houston, just the wide receiver ones. Nico Collins and JSN. That's really about it. All right, now we're going to do our picks here. So last week, we went 13-2 to make our standings 45-20 on the year, which I think is incredible. I wish I could do that math right off the top of my head. I really don't want to do it, though. And then all-time... Oh, I'm sorry. No, we are 58-20 on the year. Forgot to add my wins. 58-20 on the year. We do really well over here, I'm just saying. And then all-time, ever since we started the show, we are 198-74. 2 picks away from 200. Fantastic, I believe. And then 4-1 on our locks of the week. My lock of the week would have been the Falcons, plus 3.5. I really don't think they would have been blown out. So that's where I would have gone, which stinks. That was a bit like I wasn't able to stream. Kind of was my own choice, but sometimes you gotta put the phone down, man. But from here on out, we will be streaming. All right, so here we go. Right into it. Kind of rapid fire here. Rams at Jacksonville, which is not really because it's in London, I believe. Rams. New Orleans at Chicago. Give me Chicago. Miami at Cleveland. Give me Cleveland. Oh, man. Yeah, I think Cleveland does it. I think Mike McDaniel truly gets on the hot seat after that. Raiders at Kansas City. They're about to go on a tear the rest of the year. Hi, Ortega. Philadelphia at Minnesota. Philadelphia gets bounced back after 2 losses in a row. Carolina at the Jets. I'm about to do the funniest thing ever. Give me the Jets. Carolina has been terrible on the road. I don't think they pick up their first win here. I think the Jets get their first win in general. And it's not going to be pretty, but they'll get it done. New England at Tennessee. Give me New England. Again, another team we were high on in the summer. Look at them now. They're top 4 in the AFC. The Giants at Denver. Give me Denver. I think they're going to smash them. Indianapolis at the Chargers. Give me Indy. Green Bay at Arizona. Give me Green Bay. If I show that. Washington at Dallas. Give me Washington. Atlanta at San Francisco. Dirty Birds rise up. Tampa Bay at Detroit. dude, I can't bet against the Bucks. Baker's just been playing out of his absolute mind, and I've got to go with him. But Detroit could easily bounce back with a much-needed win. Houston at Seattle is the last one, and give me Seattle. All right, I like this a lot. I wish I could put like a $5 parlay, but I feel like I would just burn $5 instead. All right, but that's the show. I appreciate y'all so much. For real, God bless everyone. Y'all are the best. Love y'all. Be kind to one another. And yeah, God loves you.